I want everybody to understand that your physical body needs you to have muscle mass. And you want to really have as much muscle mass as feels comfortable, but also that protects and allows your body to do what you want it to do today, but also what you're going to want it to do in the future. And as we age, the body basically throws everything at us to work against producing that muscle and retaining that muscle. So it really becomes something that decade on decade we have to invest effort, and invest consistency in making sure that we're building and retaining our muscle mass. Now, also disclaimer, I am a dietitian. I am not a personal trainer, and I do not have exercise physiology training. So I want to be clear that when I'm working with my clients, I recommend that they work with somebody else. And in particular, we work with somebody to understand and look at everything that's going on in their day. Because one of the things I think is the most wrong with this idea that we all need more strength training is that it fails to take into account what else we are doing in our day. I'll give you an example that I can relate to. If you ask me, how much magnesium I should take as a supplement, or should it be 400 milligrams, or whatever on that part, I'm going to say it depends. And it depends on two things. It depends on what you're consuming in the day from food, and that it also depends on what your body is showing me that it needs. So when we look at strength training, we want to think about the same thing. If you are someone where you're actively doing a lot of resistance training in your day, maybe your job requires that, maybe your job of parenting requires that, your job of caregiving, so maybe you're taking care of someone and you're lifting them and helping them move, maybe you're lifting children, throughout the day, maybe you're cleaning and so you're lifting or you're moving boxes, or you're doing a lot of different movements, then perhaps you don't need to add in more strength training. Or it could be that the type of strength training that you need to add in is something that's a counterbalance to the kinds of movements that you're already doing. So if you notice that you're always lifting things up, you might need to be doing things where you're pulling things down. And that helps us to build our muscles in the balanced way that we want from a usage standpoint. Now, many of us are building our tushies. We're building our butt muscles, or we're not actually building them. We're letting them soften and flatten because we're sitting a lot. Just standing can make a huge improvement in how we actually build other muscles, but or maybe don't lose the muscles if we're sitting, but we do need to do more than that. That's where things like squatting and other exercises with strength, with resistance are going to be helpful for us. Now, is it better for you to use a band? Is it better for you to use weights? Is it better for you to use heavier weights? Is it better for you to use machines? This is all going to depend on what you have available for you and what you can do consistently, and again, what those goals are. So that is where I recommend that you're working with somebody on that part. But a good rule of thumb is that every single day you should be doing something that helps your body to experience resistance from a physiologic standpoint and from a strength training standpoint. It's not a bad idea to think about that overall in your day as well. Not too much resistance, right? But we do want to do that so that we're not just in a space where we're always trying to have our body feel real comfortable. And then where, most of the time resistance training should be incorporated in, I would say about 3 or 4 times in the week. So at least half of your week, you're doing something with intention. It's about all the guidance I can give you as a dietitian, but suffice to say, it is really important for you to do it and to invest behind it. And it's a great way for us to figure out if your protein intake is actually optimal for your body, but maybe your resistance training isn't, and maybe that's why you're not building the muscle, if we don't see those improvements. So it isn't always about more protein. It isn't always about more strength training, but they do certainly have a relationship together.